Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are tackling a seriously profound riddle, one all about logic, creation, and the absolute limits of human imagination. We're going to be unpacking a classic theological argument known as the ninth truth. And honestly, if you've ever looked out at the world and just kind of wondered about the hidden mechanics keeping it all running so smoothly, well, this framework is going to completely flip your perspective.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Before we even get to the core argument, I've got a quick question for you. The source material presents three hypothetical, almost mythical scenarios, and it asks us a very Socratic question. Which of these is most unbelievable? It's a deliberate setup, really. It's designed to stretch our perception of what's possible, setting the stage for a massive logical pivot that will completely reframe how we view the everyday world around us.
So here are the three scenarios. First off, imagine a writer who can flawlessly rewrite hundreds of thousands of lost, corrupted books entirely from memory without a single typo. Second, picture a ruler who is so powerful they can literally move entire mountain ranges with just a flick of their wrist. And third, envision a military commander who can reassemble a totally scattered, chaotic army across a continent with just a single call. These metaphors are deliberately extreme. They're basically designed to make our brains short-circuit and establish the absolute limits of what we are actually willing to accept as possible.
Let's just isolate that first analogy for a second. 300,000. To put that massive number into perspective, a stack of 300,000 average-sized books would tower over 3 miles into the sky. The author asks us to imagine a miraculous writer recreating all of those from scratch, absolutely flawlessly, in just 1 hour. If someone claimed they could do this, you'd call them completely crazy, right? The sheer volume of data, not to mention the insane speed required, completely defies human logic. But here is exactly where the text makes a brilliant pivot, introducing this concept known as the ninth truth. You see, the author uses these wild hypotheticals not just as fun little fairy tales, but as a structural bridge. The ninth truth takes our awe of these imaginary feats, the writer, the ruler, the commander, and forces us to redirect that exact same awe toward the everyday reality we live in and observe all the time.
Remember those 300,000 lost books we just talked about? Well, the text asks us to pivot our gaze from that metaphor over to the absolute reality of nature. Every single year, as the white page of winter turns, the power of spring opens a green leaf. And in doing so, it flawlessly recreates over 300,000 different plant and animal species. From tiny seeds and dormant roots, without a single error, this incredibly complex order just emerges. And it happens globally, literally right before our eyes.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core of the whole argument. On one side, we have our human scale analogies, right? A writer rewriting a lost book, a ruler moving a mountain, a commander assembling an army. We instantly deem these impossible. But on the other side, we have the cosmic scale reality. Not only does nature perfectly rewrite 300,000 biological species every single spring, but the Earth rotates seamlessly, which is a feat vastly greater than moving a mountain, and countless atoms assemble perfectly deformed living bodies, completely dwarfing that commander's army. Nature's daily miracles make our wildest hypotheticals look like child's play.
So what does this all mean? It actually brings us to a massive logical double standard in human thinking. We witness, we totally accept, and we don't even second-guess the infinitely complex, massive recreation of the natural world every single spring. Yet, a lot of folks struggle with what the text argues is a comparatively simpler task, the recreation or resurrection of a single human being. The argument here is purely proportional. If a power can flawlessly execute the staggering complexity of spring year after year, doubting its ability to perform a much smaller recreation is, well, it's mathematically and logically inconsistent.
The source material then takes this logical proof and grounds it in its ultimate theological authority, citing the Quran. Surah Yasin, chapter 36, verse 81 asks, "Is not he who created the heavens and the earth able to create the likes of them? Yes, it is so, and he is the knowing creator." This is literally the synthesis of the entire text. It takes that undeniable comparison between planetary creation and individual recreation, and it presents it neutrally as the foundational answer to our original riddle.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. Of the three initial analogies we discussed, the writer perfectly recreating books, the ruler moving mountains, or the commander assembling a chaotic army, which scenario made you question reality the most, and why? Because honestly, pondering why our minds struggle so much with these metaphors, while simultaneously just accepting the infinitely more complex reality unfolding right outside our windows, well, that is exactly the realization this text wants us to walk away with.